I'm with Daniel Zeev, and we're going to talk about SpikeBot. I was very excited to hear about that. So tell us what SpikeBot is all about.
Yeah, so SpikeBot, our intraday SpikeBot, which we announced today, it's really exciting. And it's actually a problem I've been wanting to solve for like 2 decades because, teams that no matter how good your forecast is, and it is getting better and better with our new exact forecasting bot, but there's always something unexpected that happens in the contact center. And everybody who's worked in the contact center is always saying, hey, even they come to the analytics team and say, hey, we're having this spike of calls. We don't know what's going on. Tell me what's going on. And typically it could take hours or even days to figure that out. And in most cases, a lot of these spikes are urgent. First of all, they're a huge disruption because now you have to shift agents around and move, and you want people, you don't want your SLAs to drop, your service levels, because people are waiting and they get frustrated, and now they're just going to call a competitor or just say, hey, these guys suck because they're not answering my phone. So it's very disruptive. It impacts customer experience. It impacts cost if you have to move people around. It impacts, sometimes now it'll go to social media. Look, I waited an hour and a half to get an answer, or they gave me the wrong answer, even worse. So we finally solved it with the intraday SpikeBot. Is what we're doing is it does a few things. First of all, it analyzes and identifies the spike automatically. And that sounds trivial because I know my SLAs is not there, but there's always noise. I mean, there's always fluctuations. You have to figure out what the threshold is that, something really big is happening. Then in real time, it's analyzing, transcribing those calls. If it's calls, it could run on textual into chat or emails. But a lot of these are, the biggest issue is the calls where people have to wait, and you're trying to get to a live agent, and it figures out what's driving this particular call. And again, it's not trivial because there's calls about a lot of stuff all the time. We get billing calls all the time. We get website calls. What's unique about this spike? It can compare it to the relevant reference group. We have all the data in a data hub, so we can do that comparison really quick and figure out, here's the root cause and the drivers. Then it also quantifies how big of a deal is this. Is this, going to blow over and I can just keep working, there's spikes all the time, but this is a real spike. The spike that we showed this morning was driving $30,000 an hour of costs. So it has a huge cost, definitely worthy of immediate action and attention. It goes further to suggest remedies.
That's what I love about it. It's not just, here's the problem, here's how you solve it.
Exactly. And because we have access to the entire Verint platform, you can post something on the IVA with IVA Studio, which is now drag and drop. It's not months of changing. I can change the upfront message on, if you're calling about your renter's insurance, here's your coverage, here's your pricing. We know what the questions are. We know what the answers are. And then you don't have to go to an agent. We've just eliminated that spike.
Does it do it automatically, or does the agent or supervisor need to prompt and say, what are some actions I should take?
So it can do both. Right now, in my opinion about agentic in general, is you slowly build trust in how autonomous you want that bot to be. Right now, it'll suggest the action. It can trigger the action. You can have a human in the loop before you post something without looking at it. I would suggest look at it, make sure it's correct, it's accurate, it's the message you want to deliver. You can fine tune it quickly, but this could be minutes, not days or hours, because IVA Studio allows you to do that really quickly. It's no code. You press the button, you apply it, and you see the spike go down. And if you're seeing, hey, there's another reason, you can change that again. So it's very dynamic. We heard one of our customers talk about how easy it is to use the IVA Studio and how dynamic it is. They used to wait months to make any changes. Now it's really in minutes. That's one action, by the way. Another action is automated knowledge. Let's curate and come up with the right answers so the agents and customers have it. Another action is real-time coaching. The marketing department that launched this campaign wants people to call. They think it's a huge success, but they need the answers. Now we know what the questions are. We know what the answers are. When that question comes up, automatically there's guidance to the agent. Here's your answer. Here's the pricing. Here's the coverage. And let's sign you up. Now they're turning that $30,000 an hour cost into millions of dollars in revenue. So that's really exciting, and that's leveraging the CX automation platform, different parts of it, all the data and the actions, and it's what I believe is where agentic AI is going. It's not just giving me an answer to a question, but it's actually taking action, automating another workflow and another workflow, and it turns these challenges into opportunities, and that's how you get ahead.
So the other night, you and I were talking about agentic AI, and you gave a great analogy with autonomous cars.
Yes.
So tell me how you see agentic and that analogy.
Yeah, so people ask me all the time, what's the difference between generative AI and agentic AI? And I said, look, I don't think that's the right question. The question is, how agentic do you want to get? So why I use self-driving cars. I have a car that has a lot of agentic in it. Like, it could keep me in the lane automatically. I could take my hands off for at least a few seconds before it alerts. If there's a car I didn't notice or something on the road, it'll stop. That's agentic. It's taking action. But I have control over it, right? I am using it more and more, and I feel like in traffic jams, I love it because I just put it on the agentic. I don't have to press the gas or it'll just keep me in the right speed, and it slow down and go. Eventually, they'll be totally self-driving, but agentic is now. There's ways you can start taking action and automated actions. And in our world in CX, we have a lot of bots that are already agentic, that are already taking action. You can decide how much autonomy you want to give those bots. Like the IVA, you can have it automatically change, or you want to control it. As you build trust, as you see this is work, as you quantify the outcomes that we've now added into you can see the impact. You're saying, yeah, this is working. Let's just let it go. For example, I'll give you an example with our wrap-up bot. So the wrap-up bot automatically summarizes the interactions, and something agents typically did manually.
And that's been around for a while.
That's been out for a while. So initially what customer says, well, we don't know if the summary is good. So we want the agent to review it, edit it, and then publish it to the CRM or the system of record. And that was fine. They saw that, first of all, it is really good. It's much better when the agents do it. And second of all, if the agents reviews it, they're wasting the time that we're trying to save. So reviewing the summary could take almost as much as writing something. So what are we gaining? We're missing out on the hour. They saw it was so good. They said, oh, you know what? 95% of the agents don't need to look at it, but we'll keep 5% to kind of fine tune it and make sure it's exactly. Now, 95% agentic, 5% that's automatically generates a summary, publishes it automatically. That's all agentic, but you can still leave a small group to do the kind of the quality assurance to feel that you're comfortable. That's the process. It's in stages. And then eventually you say, I don't even need that 5%. Let's automate everything.
So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing.
Exactly. It's not generative or agentic. Right. It's generative that slowly becomes more and more autonomous to the point where it's fully autonomous. But I think people have it in their mind that if it's not fully autonomous, then it's not agentic. No, it's a spectrum.
Yep, I love that. Let's talk a little bit about Genie and the Genie bot, because you announced that last year, but now it's GA and people are using it.
Yeah, Genie, everybody loves Genie. And it gives you more than 3 wishes. And we see that I love also the process here. We realize that generative AI is huge in this area of speech analytics, where we're analyzing unstructured data. We have the highest level of transcripts. Now we launched our exact transcription 2.0, so it's even more accurate. And Genie didn't replace speech analytics. It just supercharged it. We already have the transcript, we have the categories, we have the issues. But now when something comes up, you can analyze it and just ask Genie, what's driving churn? What's driving billing? What's driving websites? We had a session today with Rollins that mentioned that, one of the first things Genie found was insights about their website. And it was just one question. It could have taken them days or weeks to figure this out. Now it was done in minutes, and the impact could be huge. That's their first, impression of the customer experience. So we did this project where we did these workshops. We'd come on site, run this on real life data. This was not a lab experiment. That's our message. If you're experimenting in the lab, it doesn't mean anything. First, because it doesn't represent real world example. It's not the same scale. It's not the same data. So if it works, it doesn't mean anything. If it doesn't work, it still doesn't mean anything. And you're not getting any outcomes from these lab experiments. And that's what we're hearing from the MIT report. 95% of these projects don't provide outcomes, so they're considered failures. Our approach is run it in live production. You can run it on 100 agents or a small sample. You don't have to run it on the entire company. And you're seeing the outcomes. And then, wow, this is amazing. Let's expand. And we've heard several customers that launched a bot. We've heard from BT this week that they launched our coaching bot on 100 agents. And they weren't 100% sure, so they ran it on another 100 agents, different set of agents. And they said, well, even better. And then they said, okay, let's go 500. Oh, even better. And then they said, what? 5,000. And all that in weeks. So that's the power of taking it. And with Genie, we've done the same. We have dozens of deployments, and they've all started with let's run it small. And they were all amazed. And they said, we had one customer that I was at that workshop, and we're on site, and we said, we're turning it on just for 2 days. And they, by the way, didn't even want this. They said, no, we don't need it. We know all this. In 2 days, they were amazed. And they said, and we said, okay, the workshop's over. We're turning it off. And they said, no, don't turn it off. We can't, that's where they called us, dealing because they can't live without it now. And I think it was the fastest PO I've ever been involved. Like within days, they just purchased it, and for half their agents, and they're saying we're going to get the other half later. So I think that approach of working with customers on real data in deployment, proving the outcomes, and then scaling it quickly, on the platform has been very successful with Genie. I hope we could do the same with SpikeBot. That's our plan. We started our pre-release program. And all the bots, that's the beauty of this open platform.
It's a great approach, and that way customers don't have to be scared about it.
Right.
It's like, let's try it out, let's see how it works, and if it doesn't,
it's better to fail fast than not to try. The bigger risk, I tell customers, is what's the biggest risk in AI is not to try, is to wait. Because those who succeed are going to get ahead, and even if it doesn't work, you've learned something from it. We've heard from Katie Ledecky today about what happens when there's a meet that she doesn't do so well. She says that's the biggest learning experience, right? Now I figure out with my coaches, how do I change my strategy? What do I got to train for? That's how you learn. That's how you're going to be, with AI, that's how you're going to become proficient. So my advice to executives about AI is I understand there's security issues and data, whatever, but invest a lot in getting this to the hands of your employees as quickly as possible. Do real live deployments, measure the outcomes, and now we've added that measurement in the platform, so it's very easy. It's a push of a button. You see how much value you're getting. And if it works, expand quickly. And if it doesn't, switch to a different thing. Find a different problem, find a different bot.
Well, I love that philosophy. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Blair.